Okay, so how are we all doing today? Okay, from the last class, we talked about some practical approach towards Jira. Initially, today was supposed to treat Scrum, but because we needed to do a practical approach of Jira, we are going to. Okay, we are fine. Thank you. Thank you very much. At least someone responded. So today we'll do a practical approach. I just need like 3 people who has access to their Jira profile, either on the laptop or on the mobile phone. So the free plan can only take, I think the free plan should be able to take between 5 to 8 people. So we are going to try that out. And don't forget, we are still on the Kanban template. So if whatever we do today would cover everything regarding the Kanban templates, while in the next class we'll move into the Scrum section of it. So the remaining 2 Sundays in this month will be for the Scrum. So at the end of this month, there is a course on Coursera. In fact, I think I should just open it up so we can see it. I would, at the end of it, it's a certification course. It's literally like an overview of the entire Atlassian and it will be very, very, very beneficial. So at the end of every month, when we take a session like this to learn a new skill, we get the opportunity to pick a certification under that particular skill. So it is actually organized by Jira, the Atlassian company themselves. So this is the course that we are going to take, and it's just 12 hours. So very quick and straightforward. I'm taking it 2 already. So no certification is a loss. So at the end of this month, with the little that you've been familiar with, because everything that I'm putting us through is more like the fundamentals. So these short 12-hour courses would also, help you fully understand the entire tools regarding Atlassian. So I think they have their other tools in it. So, well, when we get to that part, I would explain that. Okay, so let me open. Let's use this one, class 2. Okay, so this is my class 2. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete everything here. So I want a fresh board, and I don't want to, create any one. Now, I think in the last class I told us to, check out all the templates and then test out the things. So we've been testing it all this while since the day we started working on Jira. Did you experience any challenges? Let me know. I know I could delete it there instead of opening it up. So I want to use this for to do in progress review and done. So that is what I'm going to use. Okay, someone said there is also a Jira fundamental certification on the Atlassian website itself. Wow, that's great. Wow, thank you very much for that information. I never knew. So if that's the case, that makes 2 certifications then. Impressive. Yeah, because the certification would actually prove that you are familiar with this skill and you are proficient with it. So the certification is a boost to your resume, and there is no, we would look into it later. So I'll just share that with us. Thank you very much for that update. Okay, so let's go back. So this is the board that I want to use. Now let's think of the product. I was going to come up with a product myself, but I want us to run through it together. So the products can be, this particular template is solely fitted for a software development company, but let's not make it complex. So we would think of a very simple product, simple general product. Okay, so let's do something like anybody can give anybody with an idea. Anyone with an idea. I'm thinking grocery store. I'm thinking I don't want it to be too technical, too technical in terms of development. I just want something very general. Grocery, we shop for grocery in the markets. Now we want to actually try to
Agita board.
Agile board. Okay, that's impressive. Okay, could do that. Okay, so and Agile is a school. It's a tech school, a tech training, tech school like that. So now, for those of us that are not familiar with Digital, I think this is a Digital website. As a matter of fact, let me use the opportunity to advertise myself. I was the one that built the website. Okay, so you can check it out if you want. Check it out and let me know what you think. So I'm advertising myself. So now our task is, I'm sure every one of us knows how a website looks like, and basically anything that has to do with a website. So digital website, digitalconsulting.com. Okay, I've received the link to the Atlassian certification. Thank you very much, man. So we would come back here before the end of the class. Okay, so this is a digital website, but now we want to create an assumption on the fact that the company doesn't have a website yet. And we in this actual chat room, we are the ones that want to build the site. Now, with the fact that I was the one who built the site, I'm going to, give us like an overview of the little challenges that I encounter. So before we start, now our task is to build the website. Of course, the normal way to build a website is just build them and then they pay you and then you start building the site. But now we have to, since we have an option to utilize a tool like this, we have to actually make use of it. So now, do we have people who have access to their Jira? If you do, I just need let's mute. I think I'm going to have to mute everybody automatically. Okay, I'll send the link to the certification to the group. Don't worry. I'll send it. So it has been sent to me. So I'll drop it in the Zoom right now. So after the class, we would check it because I haven't seen it myself. So we can just go through it together. Okay, I need 5 people who are going to who will join me to work on the Jira platform together. So if you have access to your Jira profile, just drop me your email address in the chat section so I would send you an invite. And as soon as I'm sending you an invite, please just quickly check your device and accept. Okay, so please drop me your email. Drop me your email. Don't we have access? Okay, great. Thank you. Someone has dropped their email. Do you have anyone else? Okay, great. Just 5 people. So we are going to split the job. The job is to design a website. So we're going to split the tasks within 5 people. So can we get 3 more? 3 more, 3 more, 3 more. 3 more. Where are others? Where are others? I thought someone was raising a hand before. Okay, I need 2 more. So as soon as I send you an invite, just check it will be sent to your email. Just accept it. Once you accept it, you have access to the Jira board. So that way we can assign tasks. Okay, great. I have 5 people. Thank you very much. Okay. Oh, nice. Eventually got more than that. Problem. I think Jira would accommodate. Now we've reached our limit. Jira can accommodate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 7. So Jira can still accommodate 7 people on the on the free plan. So we are on the free plan. I will send in the invite. So once you see this, you accept. Okay, you have added 7 new licenses has been added. Okay, great. Okay, so I've sent all invites. So if you've received it, please let me know. Search for people in my team. So these are all the people. Manage users. Why is it showing me? Okay, great. Accepted. Thank you. Why is it showing me 6 people? I guess let me assume all 6 have accepted. Okay, this is just not all 6 yet. This is 1, 2, 3. This is only 4 so far. Okay. Okay, accepted. Thank you. Okay, I've invited everyone. Total users, active users. So we are 8 in number, which is excellent. Okay. Let's go back to our dashboard. So now all 8, now the first thing that I want to do, and even now that we've been given the job to make the website, now the first thing that we have to do is to gather information. Now, for this kind of product, they have their own stakeholders. Now, their stakeholders, they are both internal and the external stakeholders, but we just have to focus on the internal stakeholders. So the kind of information we're going to be collecting is everything regarding the company itself. Gathering information. So we really want to know what the company is all about, what they do, how they do it, then what are the few things that that needs to be in place, and then what are all other, just let me go back, discard. So what are the things I want to, we know too well it's a website. As much as you understand what the company does, you still do not have the full information of what they are literally doing. Now, gathering information is not a one-man job, because the kind of information we want to collect would help us fully understand everything they are doing. Okay. I'm seeing something. It looks like Jira themselves have actually updated. They've updated this platform. So this is one of the reason why. Let me go back to projects. Let me check another one to confirm if I'm actually on the same page. I just want to try something. Looks like, oh, great. Then what happened to the previous one? Let me look at this one. Because the way that one was working, it looks like it's a different board. It looks like I'm on a different dashboard entirely. Okay, I've seen it. So I'm going to go for this one, which is a Kanban. I would use this. The other one was somehow Scrum related. So I just need something simple. Let me confirm my team. Okay, great. So I have my team. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is gathering information. So as the team leader, will be the one to create the task. Now, creating all the tasks does not mean that I'm just going to sit down on Jira and then start creating tasks. There's going to be like a general meeting within the team. Okay, we have been given a project to design a website for this company. Now, this is the first thing that we need to do. We're going to collect, of course, when you want to start building a website, you need to collect some information. Now, what kind of information? The companies will be like, what kind of information do you need? Now, the truth behind it all is they may not give us even what we expect. There are some companies that they don't even have any kind of write-up or any kind of bow that you need. So that is where our own creativity comes in place. So whatever information they are giving us is what we have to, make use of. So for this kind of job, all I would have to do now is I'm just going to put down some description. What kind of information are we going to collect? So kind of information is going to be like company bow. Okay, let me just do it this way. Below are the information. Okay. Below are the information needed from the company. The first one is company bow. We want to use grammar more than, so I'm going to use bulleted points. The company bow, company profile. Sometimes when you say company bow, it can still follow the category of their services, but sometimes it's best to just separate them. Product and services, available photos. It's not always compulsory, but some companies would prefer to have their photos on their website. Available photos, team members. It's a school, of course. People want to see team members, founders profile. I think these are the information I collected then. What else? So what else do we feel we can collect from this, from the company? I think we could still make use of this 6. Okay, so I've added this to the entire section of it. Now, we can decide to create a child issue for this, and we can decide not to. Why? Because all of this task here is just like one task. We collect the information, whatever information we collect from them is what we make use of. So now I'm going to assign this task to someone. How come I'm finding just one person? Where are others? Okay, found everyone. Okay, so I'm assigning someone to this task. I can decide to, okay, let's leave it that way. I'm assigning someone to this task. Then I need to do few configuration because this particular task has to have a timeline so that it's not just going to sit down there. So we're going to, let's quickly run through the configuration and then add the dates. Okay, so save changes. And let's go back to our framework. Okay, so and decide I created this on the 16th. So let's see, I'm leaving it to that particular time. So at this point, I can start communicating. All you have to, of course, you see all these things that I'm putting down here. We've discussed about it in the meeting. We've talked about it. We've communicated about it. So this is just like a reminder. Now, all you have to do is to send email to the company requesting for these details and ensuring all documents has been sent. Because we can't proceed without them. Now, sometimes it might take quite a long time for some of these companies to actually give us a response. Now, you see, the first attempt I made here, when I assigned someone to this task, the person received an email immediately. Now that I'm commenting and I'm tagging that person, the person is receiving an email. So even if I now decide to come here and then feel like I think this project is going to be, a little bit complex for one person, I can decide to assign another person to it. Okay, you guys can work on it together. So that way, at this point now, I've assigned a particular task to someone. Okay, someone said, I experienced that problem too, whereby someone accepts an invite but not seen on the board. I'm surprised to see it myself yet too. So I think I'll still look into it again because I already have, that was why I had to come here and check the thing, because even though I had changed, I moved from one board to another board. I had one board initially that was the digital board. These are all the people I have in my team. So I don't know why it's showing only a few people, but no problem. We would look into it because even though I changed to another board, I am inviting them to a complete team initially. So, okay. So at this rate, what I would need to know, I would need to confirm, okay, I have accepted your invite to, how come I'm not seeing you? All right, we'll look into it. Worst case, I would come back here and this was the one I was using before. I'll come back here and check it. Let me try and check here if it will be connected here. Hey, let me try this one and see what I have here. Demo. Okay. Support and automatic. Oh, I think everyone is here. I don't wonder. I think everyone is here. Okay. If that's the case, let me just replicate my task and bring them over there. But the invite that I sent is actually bring them into my profile. So I should have been able to bring them into coming. I want to recreate my task again. Gathering information. The deadline is still the same. And we don't need the stopwatch. So I'm adding this, then I'll come back. Let me pick this one. I'm going to have to delete everything in here, so there won't be any issues. So the person I'm sending this invite to would not receive all the information twice. So of course, they would have received it by now. But if I proceed with a new one, they would receive this. Okay, so assigning. Okay, so I've assigned this to one person. Now, our label, we usually have labels. Labels is mostly used for priorities. Is it high? Is it medium? Is it low? That is what the label is all about. If there's any need for me, if there's a need for me to attach anything, I can go ahead and attach them right here on the board. So let's create the board. So we've created a board. So send an invite. Please let me know if you received the invites. Okay, I haven't added the comments. I knew I was missing something. So okay, so task one has been done. So let me know if you received the invite. So once you receive the invite, what you should do for me is I want to confirm, since I invited you to join the board here. Number one, I need to confirm something. That is sorry, I'm referring to I'm sure it's Mrs. Oluwatoyin. Okay, so what I want to confirm now is, number one, can you move the to-do list yourself from here to the in progress? Now, we're using the free Jira platform, so I don't know if Jira would give you access, because the ones that I've been using with team have always been pro. So I need to confirm. Let me know if you could actually move it. If you can, you should. If you are unable to do it on the board itself, click on the task that has been assigned to you, then locate the to-do section. This is it here. Locate the to-do section and put it on progress. So let me see if that works. So after that, if that works, then the next thing you have to do now, create an assume, just give me an assumption that your task has been done. So once you move it in progress, then go ahead and give me a comment that the job has been done. So once the job has been done, it moves into review. So that is where we now communicate. Okay, I got a yes. So you could move it. If that's the case, I think you should move it. Let me check. I need to check my email. So whatever activities that you're doing, I'll be able to receive it on my email as well. So let me know if you actually moved it. If you can move it, you should do that right now. Oh, great. It has been moved. Interesting. Okay. So far that you can move it yourself, which is great. I like the fact that we could do that on the free plan. So you see the fact that I assigned the task to you, it becomes your personal task. So now you can only move the job from to do, in progress, and review. I'll be the only one to move it down to done. That is, if we actually review. So the review section is where we will now start communicating. So now what you now have to do for me now is, let's assume that you've sent the email, you're waiting for their response. So now you need to drop me someone drop an information, it's in progress. Okay, but the task was assigned to another person. Okay, so I'm referring to to Mrs. Oluwatoyin. So drop me a comment that you forwarded the email to the. Okay, great. I've received it, waiting for their response. So can we all see it? She has updated this. Now, the interesting thing is I'm going to receive, if I'm using the Jira app, I would receive a notification. I'm definitely going to receive a notification that activities has been going on the platform. So if you're not on the app, if you're on the other platform, you'll be able to, that is on the desktop, be able to receive every activities. So now you've already responded, waiting for their response. So the next thing now is to now go back and write a comment information has been that you've gotten the information needed. That is all of these 6 information. So once you send me that, if you have any rough documents, or even if it's an image or anything at all, try to attach it to this file. So that attachment will serve as the information that we collected from these people. So let's do that. So while waiting for that, the next part is we want a content writer. So, and we have someone in our team to prepare content for the, you didn't have the complete information yet, of course, but now you know too well that it's a school, it's a tech school. So digital is just tech, and that alone is enough. So the kind of information you see on a, let's look at the current website. The kind of information you see on the website is not that kind of information that they on the main page, because when you visit the website, the first thing you see is the main page. So this kind of information is not going to be in their documents. These are personal creativity, the way we want the site to be structured, the kind of information. So we usually have people to help with content writing. We have people to help with content writing. So I'm going to create that particular task, prepare content for the website. Now I will assign that to 2 people. Content writing sometimes can take 5 days maximum. Okay. I got into the assignment section. Okay, let's say we need enough, let's say appealing content for the, and of course, every website would have a homepage. So the website homepage and the services. You can't do the services until you get the first task. So you literally can't do anything until the first task has been completed. But the little information that you can now gather, such as, let's say, header text on the home page, body, and etc. So just for example, so I'm going to assign this as well to Mr. Eze, and then I can assign it to Mr. Ryan. Why can't I assign 2 people? Jira has disappointed me. I usually assign more than 1 person. But no problem. Mr. Eze, I can't find you again. Okay. Okay, so let's move. So I've assigned a task. Then let's create. So we have 2 tasks. Why do we have our gathering information back to to-do list? Our gathering information has to be in the review section. So please, can you move it over? So we already have how many people? Myself and then 2 other people. So please, are we following? Are we getting the concept? Hope it's not looking complex. Please let me know. Please drop a comment section. Drop a comment rather in the comment section. So let me know, please, if it's not complex, if it's not getting complex, if you're not confused, please ask questions. So we've been able to achieve this. Why do I have this notification? Due to required field on all issues, type new issue can only be created from the workflow. Surely. I don't understand what that means. Okay, so I'm still waiting for a response from Ms. Luatoin. So a response is going to go like, she'll drop a comment that the email has been received. Then she would attach a file. So that file represents the actual information that we need. So once that has been done, she would move it into the review section. So once she moves it into the review section, we can then proceed to look into the document, and then the next task can follow. Now, the reason why the next task, which is preparing of the content of the website, had to wait is mainly because the content writer needs some of the information from the company before they can proceed. So now, if I want to, there are some other tasks that I could actually put on, that could actually start working. So it can be tasks like to determine the number of, what did I create? Determine the number of what is it called? What is it called? Okay, let me create all my tags. Determine the number of pages the website will have. Okay, we have to content. So we haven't actually really started designing the website yet. So this one is just like a 24 hours task. So it's just to determine a number. So let me assign it to another person, then attach. Okay, so we have 3 tasks already created. Now we need to create another task. So what is the next thing I want to do now? Let's start building the website. So let me see. Website building. The website building. I'm just going to do this. Then I will assign it to me. I'll build the site. While creating this, I'm going to come back into the website. Then I'm going to create child issue. So these child issues I'm going to attach. Of course, I'm the one who's going to design the website, but now we are working together as a team, and we have how many people? We have 7 people, myself included. That makes 8. And someone is already gathering information. Someone else is preparing content, and then someone else is determining the numbers of pages. So 3 people have been assigned a task, and we still have few other people to determine the site. Yeah, someone asked, what of the UI UX? It depends. If we can include UI UX, of course, and we can decide not to put it. But let me put the UI UX right inside this. I'll put it here. So we have website building. So the first thing is to design. And if you remember, the duration I had it for the website building was about 2 weeks. So make UI and UX. I think it's because I'm on a free plan. That is why I can't assign more than 1 person. I should be able to. Okay, so give this to Mr. Ryan. Then after making, why did I have marker? You can see that I can personally click on this tax. Is a child issue that was derived from the website building. So the website building is where the entire tax would take place. So adding another one after making UI UX, then convert UI UX to front end, which is where the coding now starts. So I'm going to assign this. Okay, let's say I'll assign this to myself. Then build backend. Okay, let's say, for example, I'm assigning this to someone else. Then after that, we are on the testing. After that, we already have our website. This category is not focused on the WordPress website. If it's a WordPress website, we don't really have anything to do with front end or back end. So you just, once you have your UI, you just go ahead and design. Okay, let me assign this to someone else. Software testing and validation. So let's say we're going to do website review. I'm going to do website review. I just want to make sure everybody features in it. So I think at this point, we are done with the website building. So the final part, which is reviewing with clients. So this is another task entirely, and this can come right after the launch. You can give them grace of 2. So, well, is there anybody that I haven't assigned tasks to? Yeah. Okay, so I've created all the necessary. I just did a rough, like a rough calculation. I've created all the necessary tasks that I need to create regarding our website, and we now have to start working. I think that was the reason why the gathering information had to run back. So at this point, everybody would now have to start checking their board, looking at the tasks that have been assigned to them. So when you look into a task that has been assigned to you, the next thing to do is just drop something in the comment section, and then we do some kind of like a review together. And then from there, it would be, working through. So for this particular part where I have the, where is it? Yeah, the website building. Let me go back to that. So that is where I have so many chat issues that have been assigned to so many people. And if I click on each and every one of them, there are always activities that take place in there. So this particular place, okay, it didn't assign me tags. So really. There's still work. Work has not finished. Work has not finished. How come I can't find your, okay, make graphics and edit photos, because the photos they're going to send, the photos clients would always send are always looking very horrible. So that part is one of the tough parts of making a website. It's very interesting, in fact, because okay, so I've assigned you a task. I've assigned you a task. So I think everybody, deadline, photo editing might take a while, but it would not affect the entire workflow. We just create the spaces where the photos need to sit, because when clients want to send you photos for their site, some photos can be so ugly, and then you can't put an old photos, you can't put ugly photos in there's some photos that you have to even remove the background and put the better background and all. So all of these things makes up the website. So at this point, every activity is up to now start going. This is not like, what I would now do is if I'm going to teach Scrum, I'll use something similar to this with everybody here. So we would use the Scrum, use this method to run through Scrum. So at this rate, there would always be communication within the team. So for every task that has been done, there'll be a need for a review. And like I said, this gathering information would be, every other task would be resting on this first task. If gathering information has gotten to the review section, now this one is about to move in place. Why? Because we've been able to collect the necessary information needed from the client. Now we have the information. We now need to review, look through the information that has been attached to, that has been sent by the client. Does it meet the requirement that we request for? That's just the review we want to do. If it meets the requirement, then we are good to go. And if they probably send some information that we don't really even need or we don't understand, so that is where we are, or maybe they didn't give us everything that we need, we have to still write back to them. So that is why this would remain in review until that section has been taken care of. So once we've ensured that we've collected all the documentation, all the information, then this task is done. This task is done. And then this one, of course, content preparing will still stay here until the assignee has taken care of it. Then determining numbers of page, also the job starts. So for someone who is handling graphics, of course, graphics 2 will start because they've provided this. So once that information has been collected, everybody start working. So even as a matter of reviewing with clients would come last, while building the site, of course, will follow suit. But this would not start until all of these are all in review section. So that is how everything goes. So I think everyone can now, if you are assigned to a task, you can just pick your task, try to move it into the review section. So we can, okay, I think I received one new comment under the testing and validation. The only issue I have with Jira is, you see this to-do section, the section they have here on the mobile is too small. They have so many big, robust space here. All these parts, yeah, they are not necessary. They should have just put it one side, because if we have a very long, large list here, if it's very, very long and large, it's very difficult to scroll through everything once and for all. Like the way they do it on Trello, Trello covers everything from the center. That's the only issue I have with this Jira people. Okay, I think I received an information from this. Okay, yeah, someone has received this. So I can easily reply. So I got to know about it via email. So that's literally how the whole activities takes place. So if there's any issues, if there's any trouble, everybody would always communicate. Okay. Another thing has been done regarding the task. Great. So this is literally how the Kanban works. It's very, 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 very different in, okay, so the graphics has moved. It's very, very, very difficult. It's very, 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 not even difficult, sorry, scratch difficult. It's very different from the Scrum. Scrum is completely different. Scrum is much more focused on targeting problems, solving problems. So we are going to go a little bit more technical if we want to target Scrum. I'm trying to find a way where I can physically teach, teach this. So I would look for a way where I can physically teach Scrum, because I would need to really do, my thinking was, I was trying to see if I can get a strong, like a good camera where I have a board in my house. Yes, I'll actually do a physical approach to Scrum first before I come to Jira, so that it would not be complex. Well, let's see how it goes. I just have to find a way. Okay, so that is literally how this works. That's literally how this works. Yeah, someone said that would be great. Yeah, all I need is a camera. So I have sticky notes, and I have a paper tape. So what I want to do is I want to do a physical, practical approach to it first before coming to Jira, so it would not look complex. It will not look really, really, really complex. And don't forget, Scrum is mostly used when you're trying to solve a problem. You see, everything that we have here is just to help us manage the team, and everybody can easily work simultaneously. You can see that at this point, everybody can start working. So, and for a very robust task as this, there is always a need for a product manager or a project manager anybody who can, take the role of a team lead to come and sit back here and do every activity that is going on here. Now, there are going to be some set of people in the team. They are the ones that will come and do the review section. So how does the review works? You've been assigned a task. You've done the task. We need to review it together. So there are possibilities that we don't understand the creativity behind what you did. You need to explain it. So that is what the entire review is all about. And does it meet the client's requirement? So the purpose of this review, the review is done within the team. So once we've delivered the projects, we have to have another review with the client. So far, we're able to meet the client requirements. It's great. So now, there are going to be some issues that will come and the client will be like, wow, I like this. Why not do this? Why not do that? Why not do this? Why not do that? Why not do this? Why not do that? That is where UI UX comes in place. So I just did a rough calculation here. Initially, you see this before we convert UI UX to anything at all. The UI UX is just like a prototype, like a sample of how we want the website to look like. It's just like you want to build a house, an architect would have to give you the structure first. So once you are fine with the structure, they start building. It will be very difficult to say you want to make adjustments. So that is literally what the UI UX would do for you. So immediately after UI UX, we need to still go back to the client, look at your site. Look at this is a prototype. This is a sample of how the site looks like. So we need the client's approval in the site, as that way it will save. So once the client is started, I've seen cases whereby I have to give them like 24 hours. Just look through the site. Is this exactly what you want? Of course, there will be some things that you really do not like. Sample section, the prototype. Once that has been approved, then we go into development. So the only review that would now be done in the final section is just, does the website actually do what we want it to do? So any adjustment that needed to be made would be done during the UI UX. But if the client didn't come or did not make any review request during that stage, and they want to come back at the end of it, we used to charge extra for that, because that is an extra trouble. It's just like the building plan, you've seen the building structure, you were satisfied with it, and they started structuring, they started building, and then all of a sudden you want to make adjustments. It's very difficult, and very X comes in place. So after that, every other thing goes work hand in hand. So this is literally how team members communicate within themselves. And the interesting thing about Jira is the fact that Jira would always notify everyone once there is by the time we get to Miro, you will see how collaborative Miro can really be. So do we have any question before we move forward regarding the whole thing that we're doing here? Let's any question or any challenges, anything at all? Don't forget, this is just like a rough draft of a website building project. It can always be shorter than this. The task can always be shorter, and the task can at the same time be longer than this. Question. We don't have any question. That's interesting. That's interesting. So we are familiar with it. So that is, I'm sure at this point, we've literally understand how the whole operation goes. Now, for someone working in a software company, someone said, why is the photo already in review? The photo is already in review because it has been assigned to someone and the person had completed the job. So all we just have to do is we go in there, the file that has been attached, we look at the file, because once a job moves from progress to review, we have to look at all of the tasks. So once it gets to the review, it simply means that your job has been completed and it needs to be reviewed. And before we can review, you need to drop a proof of work so we can go out to get that. So that we can, go out all looking through everything together. Okay. Someone said, are these team people expected to complete the task? Of course, we are working together. So they've been assigned a task. This whole website thing can be a one-man job. So it's just like if it's going to take one person 2 weeks to complete the site, how much do you think it's going to take all 8 people to complete it? We can probably finish it in 3-4 days or even lesser than that. So that is another advantage of everybody being in a team together. Okay, so someone said, how do you move to review? So you just, once the task has been done, you move it. I'm not the one who moved this to review. The person who I'm assigned the task to was the one who moved it to review. So like I said, once they've completed a job, they attach a task. So let's say, for example, this particular determine the number of pages was assigned to me, for example. And of course, I'm going to come here in the comments that I'm done with this particular task. So I need to, if it's a link that I need to drop, I need to drop it. If it's an attached file that I need to drop, I'll drop it. So I'll just put the file and then I'll just come to the comment section and be like, yeah, the task has been completed and I have attached something. So once that has been done, that work moves into review. So it moves into review. Then once it moves, whoever has been assigned to do the review, I could be the one to do the review. Then I go ahead, check the attached file, then look through it. Does it actually meet the requirement? Does it actually fit? Is there any need for any adjustments? Do we need to fix anything? If we don't need to do anything else, then that job moves from review to done. So that person has completed his or her task. If there's any task that has been assigned to that person, that person has taken care of it. So if there's a new task, we can reassign it. You can assign. So another person said, I noticed there is no backlog column. Yeah, the reason why we didn't do backlog is I don't think we experienced any issues. So even if there's going to be backlog can come from maybe during the graphics section. Let's say some of the images that were sent were too old and too difficult to resolve. That kind of issue would delay us, then that is trouble. That is going to be trouble. So that kind of work can fall into backlog. So that is literally why we do not have backlog, because we've been that is because we've been able to take care of our tasks. So don't forget, a backlog is like a problem that we've been unable to solve. So the reason why I don't want to touch backlog here is backlog is best dealt with in the Scrum. So when it becomes a backlog, we impute Scrum already. It's already a challenging problem. How do we resolve it? Then we start climbing the ladder towards taking care of it. Okay, someone said, how do you know the job is completed? Once I assign a task to you, you move the task yourself into in progress, or I manually move it to you. So, but once I assign that task to you, of course, I'm going to give you a deadline. So I can either move it for you into the progress section or you do it yourself, but you'll be the one to move it from progress to review. Once you're through with it, of course, I gave you a task, you got it done, then you have to let me know instead of just putting it there. So you have to let me know, move it into review. So then I will receive a notification. Then I would also come here and check So once I check, you are going to attach a file. Once you attach a file, I go into that file, look at everything that has been done. Now, it depends on who is actually in charge of the review. So you and that person will have a meeting together. And if there's no need for a meeting, I can be like, okay, let's say, for example, this graphics now, the task that was given to it was to edit photo. And there was a particular photo that was not, that was not okay. Maybe the client insisted on Black people and the graphics designer made a mistake using a white person. Then I will just drop in a comment to use a Black person instead of a white person. So once you receive that comment, then you will do what? You adjust it. All of that still falls in the review. You don't need to take it back to progress. So because we are making review, your job is okay. We just need a little adjustment. So you go ahead, make that adjustment. Once you make that adjustment, I receive another comment and you'll be attaching a new file again because you've just done something. Then once that has been taken care of, I go over again, I review it. If your work is fine, and then I'll let you know in the comment section, the work is fine. And then I move it to done section. So you can't move it into done section until the work has been reviewed and approved. So another question is, what is the definition of done? Definition of done simply means I gave you a task to boil water and you've successfully boiled water. It got into the review section. I went to go and check the kitchen. Is the water actually hot to my satisfaction? Yes, it is. Then it moves into done. That job is done. But the water is not hot to my satisfaction, or is too hot. We are still in the review section. Something has to be done to it to actually make it work. Once that has been taken care of, it moves into done section. Okay, another question. I noticed there is no backlog in the column. Okay, I already talked about the backlog. We don't really have any backlog at all. So everything is still on the basis of assumption. If there's any backlog, maybe during the website building or maybe during the UI UX, we would always indicate them. So maybe while the task has been going on, the UI UX designer experienced little challenges. Maybe the review that maybe when we finish the UI UX, we gave it to the client and they didn't particularly like something, and UI UX felt it doesn't work like that. Let's say the UI UX designer designed the desktop look of the site, and then they also made the mobile and it was so responsive, and then the clients reviewed it and said, no, I don't want a white background, I want a black background. And the designer, who actually spent a lot of hours designing the product, felt like it's not a good idea to have black as the main background for that kind of website, because every color you use on the website actually represents something. So that kind of job becomes a backlog. That is when we would now go ahead and create backlog for that particular task. Then another set of people are assigned. Those are the agile methodology people, the scrum master. They're the ones that are being assigned to that particular role. Now, our client does not want a white background. They are insisting on black. Now, we feel white is the best. Of course, they used to say customer are always right, but we feel that white is the best. So how do we resolve that? So that is another part of the task entirely. So whatever needs to be done as outside that particular task will go on and be taken care of, while another certain people would have to find a way to deal with it. Should we just do what the client wants, or we should find a way to better convince the client the reason behind using white? So that is a decision for another task. So that kind of job falls into the backlog. I hope I was able to answer that. Okay, I have another question. What if people move their task on the Kanban without actually completing the task? So if people move their Kanban without completing the task, you can only move your task from here, that is from to do to progress. then to review. You can't move it to done. If you move it to done, they would still, the team lead, whoever is in charge of the Kanban dashboard, will still need to review your work. So there is no way you can outsmart that particular part. You still need to, they will still need to review your work. So before you can enter the comment section and be like, the job is done, you need to show it. What exactly did you do? How did you do it? They need to see it so that it will. Someone said, I think, okay, wait. Someone said, I think people are forgetting that it is an actual job where you get paid. Of course. So there is no way you can outsmart them. They would know. So, you know, if a task has been given to you, there's always a deadline for that particular task. The task can be like 3 days. And you can have like 3 to 4, 5 different tasks all on you. So maybe the first task can be 3 days, and then the second one can be maybe immediately when you're done with the first one, you need to jump on the second one. So someone would need to review. And if you're working in a tech company, at least once or twice in a week, your team would always have meeting to review all the tasks done. Sometimes I've worked with a team whereby it's individual. They have a team lead. So once your task has been done and it gets into the review section, the team lead would write to you and write to you, let's meet today or tomorrow. Let me know when it's convenient for you so we can do a review on the task that you've done. Then that I like that kind of review section. It's too much better than all the entire team having a general meeting and then everybody will now start working. That kind of meeting, it takes forever to end because how many of us are here? I hate. Then I now call the meeting together. Okay, the first person, let's look at your work, explain. They will review and review and review and review and review. We might spend hours on just one person and we still have how many left? We still have 7 left. But the best way to quicken the process is the team lead email you or send you a message right here on Jira, drop a link to Zoom or anything. Let's review together. The 2 of you together can review. The job of the team lead is to ensure that we meet the requirements. So once we've made the requirements, they're fine. They are not going to be the one to tell you because you use, as a graphic designer, because you use blue. And then the team lead now says, I don't like blue. No, it's not their job. Everything falls based on the requirements. So if the requirement says use blue and you decide to use red, you have to have a way to defend yourself on it. So the team lead is not the team's lead job to tell you that you can do this, you can do that. Okay, someone said I can see the notification of of the issue assigned to me, but I couldn't see it on my laptop. If you can't see it on your laptop, what could have caused that? I think go back to check your email, try to access your email on the laptop, then click on the task in it, and then just open it up there, or you try to refresh it on, refresh, reload the page again. Reload the page again. You won't try to play tricks. Of course, you can't play tricks because you have been paid for this. And the funny thing is, this is a very small team member. This is just like a team of 8 people. They are like, if you remember in the last class, I was talking about how teams are being managed. We can have about 7 different teams in a company. So this particular team can be a design team, another team will be a marketing team, another one will be an engineering team. So it's always different that way. So that way you have a lot of people, and the way they work, let me give us a heads up on that. The way they work, let's say you are a Scrum expert. Now it depends on if you are the only Scrum master in the company. That's a different thing entirely. But if you're not the only Scrum master in the company, there are going to be some tasks that will be assigned to you and at the same time someone else. So which means you have to work on it together. Like, for example, we programmers, let's look at the digital website now. Let's say I want to split this job. You see this home page? I'll give it to someone to do it. Now, another person, while person A has been assigned a task to work on the home page, another person will be working on the about page at the same time while this person is working. So which simply means that if I decide to assign each page to different people, we can actually finish the entire job within 2 to 3 days. So that is literally how they work in a tech company. They would split that task, provided. Now, what makes it easy for them to split the task? The UI designer had actually designed it. So we've seen how we want the site to look like. So that look at building of a house, for example. We've seen a plan. We know exactly, the contractor already have an idea of what is going on. So that is why they can gather a lot of people to come and build together, because they are all working together in order to achieve one goal based on the request that has been given to them. So they are going to share the work together. So no matter how ugly a programmer's code would look like, another person's code is so neat, they will have to find a way to work together just so that they can quickly finish up with their task on time. So every task will be broken into simpler stages. Last year, I worked for a company in UK. It was product design. It was even internship. It was like 4 to 6 months, like that. Now, I was working in the visual, no, before visual, I was working in the UI design team. And at that point in time, I was with, I think I was with just one person. We're working on it together. Then later, I was assigned to join a lady in the visual design section. So there was just 2 of us there. Now, what happened was, our own design creativity was completely different from mine. And our job is to actually, our job is just visual design. The company was, they were trying to build a product. I'm not sure even if they have actually built it yet. They were trying to build a product for like a platform for photographers and few other creators. And at the same time, they have a magazine. So initially, when I joined as an intern there, I was working, I needed an international work experience. So that was why I quickly jumped on it. So I was working on their photography platform until I was moved to the magazine section. So what made me move to the magazine section was I had worked on different magazine products before. So the team lead was like, I saw it in your CV that you've worked on, was it CV? It was LinkedIn. I saw it on your LinkedIn that you've worked on magazine before. So that was why they moved me to join their magazine company. So, and there was just one visual designer there. So I had to join her. Now, what she was doing was completely different from what I'm doing. Now, I kind of have dance to my tune. And at the same time, I can't decide to continue doing what she's doing. Why? I can't say because I'm meeting her there. So I have to do what she wants. No. Design is all about creativity. And what I have to do is, we just have to talk about it. Your creativity and my creativity combined together can actually produce an excellent result. So what we just have to do is, I told her, okay, fine, make a magazine cover and I'll make my own magazine cover. Then we give it to the team lead to decide. Now, the decision is not based on which one is more beautiful or more attractive. No. So the decision is more based on who is good with fonts and who is excellent with image and who is also very creative with colors. So those are the 3 things that we're trying to look at. So for me, I'm very terrible with fonts. But when it comes to color, I know I'm a boss. And when it comes to images, I know how to handle all of that. And she, on the other hand, she's very good with color and fonts. So can you see how she's good with fonts and color? I'm good with images and color. So can you see how we can actually mix that to work? So the only struggle we would now have is deciding on what color to use. But that is also not even an issue. I can come up with my own color ideas, she come up with her own color ideas, then we find a way to mix it together. So anything regarding fonts would not be my job anymore. And anything regarding pictures, photos would not be her job anymore. So which means if we want to roll out a new magazine cover, we can work together as a team. I will not disturb her on fonts. When I saw a font and I like it, it's not my business anymore. My own job is to find the right image, to spend all my entire life designing a perfect image for that product. So that is literally what I'm going to do. I'll design it, give it to her, and then we move on to the next phase. So that is literally how because they say two good heads are better than one. And now let's say we now have more than, let's say it's not just us, just not myself and I alone in the whole design team for the magazine. Let's say we are over 5 in number. We'll still have to find a way to make sure that I want to know where everyone is good at. So let's look at Scrum. Scrum is like, the graphics that we're using now is more of like, skill thing. Now, Scrum is more of an idea concept. There is a process, there's an agile methodology that you have to follow. Everybody knows that. But now, Scrum now comes in a way that you have to come up with your best method at which we have to use to do this. Now, if you have more than one person in that team, everybody have to come together, following the actual Scrum process. Now, let's go back to the website where I was saying that the backlog I theoretically created. Let's say the client wants a black background and and not even we now, our designer felt white is great. Our designer has our own reason. Now, as a Scrum person, even if we are going to follow the normal process, now the normal process is to first look at the requirements. Was it mentioned in the requirements initially that they should use white or black? Now it wasn't mentioned. Now all of a sudden the client wants black. So even it was mentioned, we can then decide, okay, why do we feel white is great? Of course, look at the screen we are looking at. Why? Imagine if this is a black thing. It will still look great, I'm very sure, because we've seen dark mode, light mode, and it always look great. So if we are going to do dark mode for them, we have to now find a way to make sure every other thing fits into it. But if at the long run, we now decide to, the only thing I can think of now as a Scrum person now is, let's consider designing another page in black background, but we have to follow the dark mode format. Do I have anything dark mode, light mode yet? Let's look at that. I think that VZ, there's this VZ guy, and the VZ has a dark mode, light mode. So this is it here. So this is light mode. Which would you prefer, light mode or dark mode? Light mode, dark mode, light mode. So can you see light mode, dark mode? I'm starting to like the dark mode much better. Now, if I'm going to consider, and the light mode it's not bad. But then if I'm going to, what would now do for me, the only way I can actually resolve the issue is to build it too. Then everybody review it together. So for me, I'm starting to now like the dark mode, but we have to actually make these two things fit together. What I would now do on this light mode is, you see these edges where I have black? It's too much. I would reduce it. I'll reduce it. This top section here where I have joined the background is gray. I'll change the background color to black and then change the text to white. This email section here as well, I would remove the black background color and then just give it a border and make the background color transparent, just to make sure that white sits and fits into it. After that, then I will now start comparing. Then everybody would now do your face keep on changing the picture. I think so too. Yeah, all of a sudden it is looking somehow. So you can see. So there will be a need to, this is where they do some kind of usability testing. We try to look at, okay, let's consider the user. Now, if the user will be the one to now decide for us. We can decide to use that user method. Yeah, let the user decide for us. We build 2 different platforms. At this rate, if the user decides white is great, now our own job is now to let the client understand that, fine, it's your website, but you're not the one going to be visiting the website. Your users are the one that are going to visit the website. If your users are not satisfied with your black color, they will not come to your site. So you can see that is enough reason to push through. So there are different methods at which you could use to solve a problem. So we just have to make sure that we solve it. So I was talking to someone yesterday that you can't say it is impossible because we just have to make it work. If you say it's not possible, the client can decide to pull out. And then if the client decides to pull out, the client can go ahead and give the job to someone else. And the person can be the do as I say person. I want black, fine, I'll give you black.
Or for my kind of a person, if you tell me you want this, and I'm looking at it that no, this thing cannot work for you, we'll fight. I will give you 1,001 reasons why you have to dance to my tune. But if I realize I know you don't want that you don't want it, like you keep disagreeing, this is what you want now, I'll just surrender. But I would make sure I frustrate you. I wish I frustrate you with a lot of argument, give you 1,001 reasons why you have to do this. But if I realize, I can't press for that and I'm already having headache, I'll just dance your tune. Then you will not get upset. You'll be like, so you are going to agree with me before. Why then did you even put me through the stress? But it's my job to let you know that this is what fits. And because most people usually have trouble when it comes to their products. I want my site, I want to build a new site. I want it to look like Forbes. Does it really have to look like Forbes? It's that, see, that kind of requirement is a client's requirement. Does it really have to look like Forbes? What if your users does not even like it? Because the site, it's your product, but then your product can stay online and then it will remain there forever if nobody touches it. So if you really want people to touch this work, you have to do. That is why we collect feedback on every product. And every product that we build, we have to collect feedback. We want to know what our audience are saying. We want to know what they want. So we have to build to meet that requirement. Now, talking about building to meet requirements, that is where it gets very, very complex, because audience opinion, it matters. Like, for example, at the end of every class, I always collect a feedback. Now, the feedback is what I've always, is what I'm always concerned about. Even after today's class, I'm going to collect another feedback. And the questions sometimes can always be, different. Now, why do I collect feedback? I've seen cases whereby people will be like, I don't like online classes. Why? Because of so reasons. They prefer physical classes. Now, and for me, I'll be like, if you want to really go into tech, you need to get used to the habit of learning online. And because there are going to be some cases whereby by the time you get the job, the first job I ever got in tech, I didn't even have any work, any portfolio, any experience. The person who helped me walk it through was like, guy, you need to build on the job. Just collect the job and know you have money coming in for you. Then you go back and start learning. When you pick up the job, you won't have time for someone to come and teach you physically. The only time you would have is a virtual class. So you have to just find a way to make it work. Now, as much as I like to teach online, I love to teach physically too. If you attend my physical class, oh God. So, but as much as I like to teach online, I can't sit down for longer minute as well to be watching an online video. I may probably sleep off. My mind might probably go off. Either ways. Now, that is a problem. Now, I haven't realized that. I had to look like, okay, now there should be a reason why it's this way. So while looking through, I then realized that if I want to pick an online course, I don't pick courses that are, that are a little bit, that are not too detailed. So that is why I would never go to Udemy if I want to learn something new. So the only time that I go to Udemy this is how I do it. If I want to learn something new, I go to YouTube. Why? YouTube videos are very short. Even if I want to go for 1 hour video, those guys are so amazing on that YouTube channel that they would give you full details of everything. So if I want to learn something new, I go to YouTube. Now, if I'm already familiar with it and I want to improve further, that is when I consider Udemy. I'm not saying Udemy platforms are not good. I've seen a course on Udemy that was so amazing. Very, 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 really, really amazing. The reason why I run away from Udemy is you might enroll for a course and the video can be over 70 videos, even if it's 5 minutes each. 70 videos is so scary. so scary. And sometimes they might tell you it's an introduction. By the time you start seeing them talking about some terminologies and then you get confused. I thought you said it's an introduction. You can't really tell until you enroll and then you've paid for it and then you get confused. Because the reason why people would watch a video, get tired and sleep while watching a video is because it's not as if the course is complex. It just depends on the person teaching it. So that is why I go for YouTube to learn something new. Because even YouTube will go down opening their laptop, but Udemy people will be looking at you. They will stand in front of the camera and be looking at you and be talking. Is it your eyes that I want to look at? So YouTube would open their laptop, start talking, start showing you things. They use PowerPoint slides, they show you things. So if I want to build up on the skill, I go to Udemy. Now, if I now need a certification to back up the skill, I go to Coursera. So that is my 3 circles. Now, if I now need like a quick skill, something like just something quick, like for example, video editing, how to learn video editing. I use the LinkedIn learning platform. The LinkedIn learning platform is so short and precise. You see 1 hour video and that's it, 2 hours video, 30-minute video. They will split it within a day or two, you're done. And they would focus on the right thing. And this one, of course, they'll give you certification, but you can pick a course like this one now, 1 hour, 12 minutes. You can't study 1 hour, 12 minutes and they'll give you a certificate and then you upload it on your resume that you have a certificate on the skill. UX Foundation Research. You studied it for 1 hour, 12 minutes. No, that is not a certification. But if you go to LinkedIn, LinkedIn is always very, very detailed. And most of the courses on LinkedIn are from the companies themselves or from universities abroad. So those certifications are dope. These ones are just, you can't study something for 50 minutes and then you want to call yourself a pro. So this is like a quick thing. There's like the Jira we're doing now. You want to quickly learn a few things on Jira. This is the best platform to come. There's a new thing, but if you are learning a skill, like a complex skill, it takes a long process. So look at it. This is user experience for web design. You can see this is combination of, if you are not a UX person and you're not a web designer, you can't go for this course. You can't. You need to understand how those things, otherwise you just get confused. So this course is just like a quick thing. I already understand. Let me see if they have Jira. At this stage now, you already understand Jira. Then you want to improve further. Now you can come to platforms like this to pick their, look at this is 2 hours, this is 1 hour. You can come to platforms like this to pick their courses. But if you're starting from scratch, this is not the best place because it's so short. So the best place would have been to even consider Udemy or even the YouTube. Okay, so the Jira course that was shared. This is the course. I'll copy the link again and send it to the group on the WhatsApp rather. So what is Jira? Working in Jira, try to solve. It's a great thing. Wow, and they have assessments. Now on Udemy, they have their own assessments, but their assessment is not as amazing as the Coursera kind. Coursera will definitely give you assessment as well before they can really certify you. So I think I will send the link to this. I like the fact that it's short and precise. I would also take it, in fact. In fact, I should take it tonight. So it's a very straightforward thing. So let's try this one. It's very quick. So after our entire 30 questions assessment, so after our entire class, that is at the end of the month, we'll come for this one. So I think this one is quite, 259,000 people currently enrolled. So this too is great. And it's directly from Atlassian themselves. So this is the advantage of Coursera. Coursera usually you see certification from Google, you see certification from IBM, certification from Meta. So they are always, and Coursera is not a free platform, so which is really, really great. So do we have any questions? So I'm going to send the link to, where is it? Jira Fundamentals. So I'll send the link to this. So we can try it. I would also go for it myself. Knowledge is lost. Okay, do we have any question or contribution? Okay, Jira Fundamentals for beginners.
Sent it to the group. Okay. In the absence of no question, I guess we can say okay, how about how to access first course for free? Yeah, accessing first course for free. That is the Coursera thing. Yeah, I was supposed to send a financial aid. I have it here. I'll send it after the class to the for those of us under age that I was supposed to send that. I'll send it today. I've forgotten. I'm very, very sorry. So it's just financial aid. There are two different questions that I'm going to ask. There are two different questions that I'm going to that will be asked, not me rather. Let me open this. I don't like it when they show all those things. So annoying. Okay, so this is financial aid. So if you apply, you are allowed to, application can take up to 16 days. So 16 days is better. You're allowed to take apply for over 10. So the financial aid is like a scholarship. They let you take the course. Look at the price. The original price is $49. So if you can afford it, you will pay for it. If you can't, you can apply for financial aid. So most people will say your annual income can, mine is always 1,000. I usually add 1,000 there because you're applying for financial aid. So you have to let them know if you don't have money, and they have the Naira option. You can utilize the Naira as well. So just do an estimate, but make sure it's very low, at least. So this is the question here. The minimum is 150 words. So reason you applied for it, I will send a template on that. Then there is one other question. So how much can you pay here? You have to always put it back to 0. And of course, if you feel you don't mind, I usually charge them. All my financial aid has always been $1. I'll put $1. So the second section here is how will your selected course help you go? So those two questions are the questions that are the answers that I will give us. So look at this part. You can apply for financial aid ever you like. I've only used it once. You can only process up to 10 applications at a time. After submitting your 10th application, you won't be able to apply to. So I'm being careful on how I'm using my free offer. There is a particular course that I'm targeting on Google and Meta. Their advanced certification. I want to go and waste it there. I don't want to use it on this. So I will send those two answers. I'll send different ones. So when you want to use it, please don't copy and paste don't copy and paste my content. So just try to reuse it. So the reason is so that we will not end up using. So if I send it to you and then you copy and paste, someone else copy and paste, someone else copy and paste, it might create issues. So just try to build up on it, read through, and then try to build up on it. So it will be very, 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 very great. So let me send. I'll also share the link to this Jira class. So those are the two Jira sys that we will be working with. Okay, the first one is directly from Atlasan. You can access it without any issues. No troubles at all. I'll have to log in with my main account so that I can take it. Okay, thank you very much for tonight. Let me know if you have any question. I would leave the group chat section open to tomorrow. So if you have any question, let me know. So our next week class is going to be on Scrum. So, and I'll be working with a slide to explain Scrum. So I'm going to send the slide ahead. I just pray I'm able to find a way to do that video that I want to do. So it will be very, very, very easy. So we would use the same team member as well. We'll pay the same team member process. That we'll look for another product simple, something simple, or something simple or a little bit complex, something simple with a complex task. So this is our Scrum. So you can see that every task that I want to create, they are a backlog. So whatever is going to make any company to come and use the Scrum, they are trying to solve a problem. So what we need here is a problem. So we are not actually targeting a product, a problem from a product. That is what we want to solve here. We want to break down that problem into simpler stages. So between now and before next class, I should have find a way to do my live video. So I want to teach it live on a plain paper. I just hope I'm able to do that. I just need a few things to make that happen. So that way it's very, very easy by the time we come to this whole thing. So by the time we're able to understand it on a plain paper, and if I can't do it on a plain paper, I will look for a software tool that I can use that can look similar to that kind of plain paper thing. So it will be very, very easy to teach it. So by the time we now come to Jira, you would be familiar with everything that happens. Okay, thank you very much for tonight. Have a good evening, and I wish you a great week ahead. Okay, so I'm going to send my feedback form. So trust me, all the feedback that you've been sending, I always work on them. Like for real, honestly, I always do. I always work on them. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Okay, I think we can then unmute. Let's unmute. Let's unmute. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let me send.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. God bless you.
Amen. And you too. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, sir. Let's update. Updates. Oh.